Hey, what's up, YouTubers? Grant F here again. Apologize again for the long hiatus, but I actually do have an excuse this time. I was sick with strep throat these last 5 or 6 days, and was going to shoot a new video, have a new video review up prior to me getting sick, but unfortunately that did happen. I am feeling a lot better now, so let's get into today's review. Also, I want to let you guys know that I am going to be doing a top 5 best films of 2013 since we are in the new year. And I just want to take a look back at some of the films that I think were overlooked and the films that I think are the best of 2013. So we'll get to that sometime in the near future. When that is, I'm not really sure, but you guys just bear with me and I'll let you know. But today, we're going to be doing a review for, I'm going to be doing a review for 12 Years a Slave. This movie was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's one of the best films of the year. It's directed by Steve McQueen, and it stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Cumberbatch, Brad Pitt, Paul Giamatti, Michael Fassbender, and just a slew of other names. It's got a great cast. Steve McQueen, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not, but he's directed Fassbender now 3 times with this film. The previous 2 being Shame and then Hunger, which were really great films. Steve McQueen has an eye for not shying away from things. He's very brutal in showing you how things are, how life really is, and there's no exception with this film. 12 Years a Slave is the true story about a free man named Solomon Northup who lived in upstate, I think it was Saratoga, New York, and he was a free man, and I believe this was in the 1850s, I think, was around the time that this incident occurred. He had a family. He was a skilled violinist. He was really good with the fiddle. He could play the fiddle really well, and he was educated. He was really well spoken. Just not your typical African American at the time. He was just very affluent and just a very good guy. Something happens where he gets offered a gig to play in the Capitol in Washington, D.C. for some political leaders. These 2 men approach him and want Solomon to play for these people. So he takes the offer, and they go to Washington to celebrate and have some drinks before he performs, and it was all a ploy. They lied to him, they drugged him, and put some stuff in his drink, and he wakes up, and he's in chains, and he's now told that he is a runaway slave from Georgia, and he's to be shipped to the South, to Louisiana, to New Orleans, to live out the rest of his life on a plantation. Chiwetel Ejiofor is just absolutely amazing in this role. He steals the show as he should. I mean, he's the title role, but he has a way where he makes you feel like you're really there. He's able to somehow get under your skin and get down deep into your bones to what it feels like to be a man, to be a free, upstanding citizen, respected father, respected husband, a friend, confidant. And then when he endures all this horrific brutality, and just absolutely horrific brutality, he shows you just through his eyes, really, just through his face and his voice, just everything that he has just shows you him breaking, and it's one of the most heart-wrenching things to ever see on film. I mean, it's just really, really, really emotional. he absolutely deserves an Oscar nomination, if not the win. Um, while Solomon Northup, Chiwetel Ejiofor, is in captivity, he goes through several different plantation, slave owners, masters. The first of which is Benedict Cumberbatch, who is kind of, he's a slave owner, but he's very polite and courteous to his slaves. He treats them with somewhat dignity, but when by the time that he gets sent to, through extenuating circumstances, gets sent to live with at Michael Fassbender's plantation. I mean, you think you've seen someone who is just absolutely like evil on camera, just like someone like a villain in a movie where you're just like, dude, that is like the most despicable person to walk the face of this earth. You have not seen Michael Fassbender in 12 Years a Slave. I mean, he is a disgusting human being. I mean, it's just absolutely deplorable the way that he treats his slaves. He is just so just demeaning to them. I mean, this is a hard film to explain to people who haven't seen it because, back then people were treated a different way than what they're treated now, and to really even kind of grasp, I mean, and this film is just like water, above the surface. I mean, there's a whole slew of things, stories, true stories of how slaves were treated that we've never known about, and stuff that we probably never will know. But this, in my honest opinion, comes the closest to telling how slavery really was. And I mean, you feel for every single one of these slaves. You really do. It's an absolutely emotional roller coaster ride of a film. A lot of people have likened it to like Schindler's List or The Passion of the Christ or Platoon. Like, some of these movies that like you see one time and you don't ever want to see it again. And it is, in some instances, in some scenes particularly, I would have to agree. It is not an easy film to watch, but I strongly urge that you go see 12 Years a Slave. I think it's essential film for a lot of people, and if you're a citizen of the United States of America, I think it's important that you see it and you see that our history in the past, there are some things that we've done that we should never be proud of. Slavery is, I think, one of the most evil institutions that have ever existed, and the sad thing is it still exists today with human trafficking and all these other horrific things that are going on in other countries. But yeah, the film is absolutely amazing. It's one of the best films of the year. The score by Hans Zimmer, I mean, what a haunting, memorable score. I mean, it's just the music really stays with you, and it really creates this ambiance throughout the film. And it's kind of a strange film because there are scenes where characters are just kind of like looking. There's a scene where a character just kind of stares at the camera for like a solid like 3 minutes, and you're just kind of like, what's going on? Like, is the camera messed up or something? But it just feels so gritty and real and honest. I mean, if there's one word I could sum up 12 Years a Slave, it would be honest. It's an honest portrayal of a story of a man that was just beaten down. I mean, physically and metaphorically and physically. It has a great ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you do know the true story of Solomon Northup, you'll probably already know what the ending is anyway. But the ending does give you a glimmer of hope, and it's sorely needed in a movie like this that takes a lot out of you. But it's really crazy to see him go through all this and then see him at the end. But yeah, guys, that is my review for 12 Years a Slave. I know I didn't really get into the plot that much, but that's only because I don't want to spoil a whole lot of it. It's worth seeing. It's definitely a great masterpiece of a film, but it probably will be a while before I'll be able to watch it again. Even when it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD, I don't know if I want to rent it that soon. So, but yeah, you guys, leave me your thoughts and comments. What you thought about 12 Years a Slave, if you've seen it yet. It should still be in theaters. I think it's still playing at a couple of theaters here in Oklahoma. But you guys like what you see here, please like and subscribe, and I will be happy to upload more videos. And my next video will be for The Wolf of Wall Street, which I saw Christmas Day. And that was quite a movie-going experience, for better or for worse. But I'll get into that next time. You guys have a good night, and thanks for watching.